I'm tired of being humble. I'm tired of letting people think they got a chance. This is my show. This is my camera. I run it. Oh!
All right, now we're going to talk about the Western Conference. We're going to start with the Golden State Warriors. Excuse me. We're going to start with the Golden State Warriors, man. They just picked up Seth Curry. He can't officially be signed until November. You get Al Horford. Kevon Looney is going to be a big loss. Big loss. And it's my opinion. Look, Kevon Looney should have been in the starting five. All that small ball stuff, cool. That's fine. Kevon Looney earned the right to start for that team. Earned the right. Championships. They put that man on an island so many times with James Harden. I don't even want to think about it. I don't even want to, look it up. I'm just going off of what I've seen. I don't know if there's a player that guarded James Harden more in the playoff series when he was in Houston. I don't think there's a single player that guarded James Harden more. And to put him in that situation, then you got to go down, set screens, roll to the basket, catch, finish at the rim. Now we need to expand your game, jump shots, mid-range, three-point, doing all these other things, doing all these different positions, situations where, all right, you're coming off the bench, you starting, you just, not playing at all. I think he deserved more. I think he deserved better. Last season, 48-34, lost in Western Conference semifinals to Minnesota. Steph Curry goes down with an injury. You expected Jimmy Butler to come in and dominate. Be Jimmy Butler, right? Wrong. We did not expect him to come in and dominate. We expected him to be Jimmy Butler, though, because Jimmy Butler doesn't understand that he is a superstar. He is the best player on the floor majority of the time when Steph, especially when Steph is there. Has the ability to go absolutely off. But he's like, nah, I just want to be a good teammate, get my guys involved. Here, you get a shot. You get a shot. I've seen you work on your game. I believe in you. Here. Here's what I say to that.
Should know your role and shut your mouth.
The reason why I have such a big problem with Jimmy is because a lot of the losses, if you look at his time in Miami and then last season in Golden State, Jimmy just wasn't hooping. Not because he wasn't playing well, because he decided, nah, I'm not going to play like Jimmy Butler. 15th in the league offensive rating, 17th in points per game, defensive rating 7th, 8th in opponent points per game. They can play defense. We know what they can do. You got Draymond Green back there. He was my choice for Defensive Player of the Year, and you add in Jimmy Butler. Then you add in Al Horford now. Let's talk about that, because he's not the young, Al Horford anymore. But communication is key. Communication is key defensively. So he's going to add a lot for that team. If they're healthy, they're a 5th seed. If they're healthy, they are a 5th seed. Seth Curry, like I said, can't be involved until November. I mean, you have 2 Currys, one off the bench. You still have Moses Moody. That team's going to be just fine. Now, my concern for them, though, are you just signing Jonathan Kuminga to trade him later for a bigger deal? Or are you really looking at him like a part of the future? He could be a good young player for a long time, core member for a championship someday. Or is this just a ploy just to keep him from somebody else or trade him? Next, we're going to talk about the Los Angeles Lakers. LeBron James. All right. My big thing for LA is, who's going to be the guy? Like the guy, right? Last season, 50-32. Lost in the first round to Minnesota. Completely unexpected. Completely. And one of the solves for the riddle of the Luka Doncic pick and roll, LeBron James pick and roll to get the Rudy Gobert switch is, we're not going to let them switch. We are not going to let them switch at all. And I think that is what they really struggle with. They had no answer for that. You had Nikhil Alexander going over. Anthony Edwards was going over. McDaniels was going over. They weren't allowing that switch to happen. You switch with Julius Randle, we're fine with that. He can move his feet well enough to stay with Luka. He's strong enough to take a bump from LeBron. Wait a minute. All right, so offensive rating, 12th in the league. Points per game, 19th. Defensive rating, 15th. Opponent points per game, 10th. And I think majority of that is due to the fact that you start most of the season having Anthony Davis on your roster. That trade happens. I don't think they were as good defensively. I don't. You still have Rui Hachimura. You add in Marcus Smart, DeAndre Ayton. LeBron is still capable, especially in fourth quarters. You're going to be a better defensive team this year. I expect them to be top 10 in all categories. Offensive rating should improve with Skinny Luka improving. Points per game should improve because Skinny Luka is improved. I've seen Luka when he loses weight. Now, there is a social media video floating around where he was caught at, I think, Whataburger. I think he was caught at Whataburger or In-N-Out. You can have one. I give you that. But stay healthy. If they stay healthy, the Lakers are going to be a problem. They will be a top 4 seed if they rely more so on Luka, manage LeBron through the season, get to the playoffs. They will be a top 4 seed. Last season, 39-43. You lose in a playing game versus Memphis. The Dallas Mavericks made one of the most shocking moves. We've talked about it ad nauseum, right? Anthony Davis for Luka Doncic. Never seen that coming in a million years. Never even imagined the possibility they would get rid of Luka, right? Offensive rating 17th. 15th in points per game. Defensive rating 21st. Opponent points per game 20th. They were riddled with injuries last year. Riddled. They were pulling people up from the G League to come hoop for a game. Riddled with injuries. And it doesn't help that as soon as he got there, Anthony Davis got injured in a couple games. So we didn't really get to see the full effect of AD doing his thing, Klay Thompson doing his thing. Kyrie got hurt as well. So we didn't really get the full effect. Then the offseason, you add the number 1 draft pick. We already know what happened. We ain't got to talk about it, right? We already know what happened. D'Angelo Russell and Dennis Smith Jr. They're going to be important in the backcourt, okay? Very important because you need a lot more depth at that position considering Kyrie isn't healthy and Klay Thompson is getting older. You need guys that can come in, capable of playing, capable of hooping. They've been in big games. Big shot maker and D'Angelo Russell. He's one of the most clutch players in the league. I think Dallas has the potential. Once they're fully healthy, Dallas is a playoff team. Dallas is 100% a playoff team. And that front line, I think Gafford's still there. Pretty sure Gafford is still there. I think he's not exactly healthy yet. Lively, Anthony Davis, Cooper Flagg. They could have the best front line, the best big man front line in the NBA. I think top to bottom, the amount of talent, skill, the different styles that Jason Kidd is going to be able to play. Kyrie, then you change up the pace a little. D'Angelo Russell comes in. You still have spacing, right? With Klay being Klay. So I think this team is going to be dangerous. They fall under the category as if they're healthy, I don't want to see them in a 7-game series. They can be too scared. Too scary on both sides of the basketball. So Dallas is going to have a decent year, in my opinion. I think Cooper Flagg, I don't think he'll win Rookie of the Year because he has so many veteran pieces around him. AD made the point. He's not going to a team where he's got to be the guy right out of the gate and we're going to be garbage for we ain't going to be trash for several years, right? So I think the Rookie of the Year will go to, I don't know. I mean, it could go to the kid in Miami. You know, I'm not being biased at all. Let's talk about the Clippers. Aside from the issues with Kawhi, right? Aside from Kawhi Leonard taking money off the side, Ballmer, he's on a hot seat. Aside from all that, okay, the Clippers had a very nice offseason. And we also have to assume James Harden's health. We have to assume Kawhi Leonard's health, right? Last season, 50-32, first round loss to Denver. 14th in offensive rating, 20th in points per game, defensive rating 3rd, 4th in opponent points per game. Now, they can play defense, and you add in Brook Lopez, another guy, older, but he's a great communicator, and he can space the floor still. The last thing to go is your jump shot. You add in a guy who's still young, very athletic, and he can space the floor. He can give you 15 to 20 any given night. And John Collins, Bradley Beal, former 30-point per game scorer. I don't know what happened in Phoenix. I don't know what the issue is. That Bradley Beal needs to be forgotten. This needs to be a Bradley Beal that we seen in Washington, or the Bradley Beal we thought we were going to see in Phoenix. Third option. He's not going to be the guy that has the ball in his hands every single possession, but he's going to get a bucket. He's going to be featured at times. He's going to be efficient. You lose Norman Powell. You lose Amir Coffey. I still don't understand why you gave up Norman Powell. That's still confusing to me, because you gave him up just for Kevin Love and sent Kevin Love to Utah. Move doesn't really make sense, right? Still trying to figure that one out. But Kawhi Leonard, there was rumors and rumblings that they may be looking to get to move on from him. So we're going to have to figure out how that plays out, if that's the case, or if they're still firmly behind. If they're still firmly behind Kawhi Leonard. Yeah, still gonna have to figure that out. I expect James Harden to still be in his be in his bag as far as facilitating goes. I think he does lead. Let me look at the landscape. Let me think about it. No Harden, Halliburton. Let me think. I think he has the ability to lead the league in assists. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say James Harden's gonna be an assist leader. Looking at the Denver Nuggets. Denver Nuggets going into the season, 4th in offensive rating, 3rd in points per game. They're good offensively. We all know why. Your center's averaging close to a 30-point triple-double. There's literally nothing you can do to stop Nikola Jokic at this point. He's flying. He's going on autopilot right now. When you look at the pieces around him, I mean, obviously you lose Russell, you lose Westbrook, you lose MPJ, you lose DeAndre Jordan. You bring back Cam Johnson in the trade for MPJ. Cam Johnson is he has a better shot IQ. He can still shoot the daylights out, but he has a better shot IQ. He's a better defender. MPJ was probably a better rebounder. But overall, IQ of the game, Cam Johnson's better in that aspect, right? Bruce Brown, bring him back. Energy guy, can provide his own spark. Kind of like Russell Westbrook, just a little bit younger. That's really it. All right, Bruce Brown is going to provide a big spark. I mentioned how Detroit is going to miss Tim Hardaway Jr. Tim Hardaway Jr. is going to come into a situation off of the bench, space the floor, run the floor. You're going to get easy baskets, and the gravity of Nikola Jokic is going to single-handedly send your efficiency through the roof. Tim Hardaway Jr. is going to probably have a career high in all of his percentages just by being on the floor with Joker. Now, Aaron Gordon, I mean, I don't have anything negative to say about him. Played great in the playoffs, played well. Some big time moments, game winner. I'm a little bit on the fence about Jamal Murray though. And I've always been on the fence about him because he's a really good performer in the playoffs, but he does have games where you got to find out where he's at. You got to go look for him, right? You got to go look for him to find him. The other thing that bothers me about Jamal Murray is he's being paid like a top 5 PG, but he is not a top 5 PG. He is not. So this season, I need to see 20 to 25, I'd say 23 to 25 PPG from Murray. I want to see him be in the not even in the conversation. I want to see him put a stamp on it. I will be an all-star. It's not going to be debatable like it has been in the past, because I don't even think there should be the reason why playing next to Joker, the attention that he draws, the weight that he carries night in and night out, that Jamal Murray has not been an NBA all-star. Confusing to me. Very confusing. But yeah, I mean, and again, they have Nikola Jokic. I don't even feel right saying that we're taking his game for granted, but we are. Next thing we're going to talk about, OKC. All right, 68-41 NBA champions last year. Look at their numbers. Offensively and defensively, a top 5 team across the board. They add no one. They lose no one, but they pay everybody. Williams got a check. Who else got a check? SGA got a check. Who else got a check? Chet Holmgren got. I mean, they paying about $1 billion to these dudes, right?
Dom DeMarco.
Acknowledge me.
I mean, that ring talk a lot. The ring is talking a lot in OKC. You got to acknowledge them as the best team in the league off rip. They got the MVP, the finals MVP, arguably the best defense, arguably the best offense. They really have no weaknesses in my opinion, but the one weakness I will point to, they need to make sure they have a big off of the bench. If you're going to start Hartenstein and Chet, got to have a big off the bench. That's the only thing I really point to. I don't have too much negative to say about OKC, except I think SGA stole Joker's championship. Not his championship. He stole his MVP. That's just my opinion. I think he stole his MVP. I mean, 29-point triple-double as a big man, that's not easy. That's not easy. Obviously, SGA played great. And I said this year before, I mean, adding in Caruso and Hartenstein was exactly what they needed. And the fact that they didn't add anybody this summer, they feel confident that they can run it back as is and still dominate. Okay, let's see. Let's talk about the Houston Rockets. You add Kevin Durant, Clint Capella, Dorian Finney-Smith. You get rid of Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks. Defensive rating 4th in the league. Opponent points per game 6th. 28th in points per game. Offensive rating 13th. And I know this is unfair. It's never just one person, but I point to Jalen Green. The reason why I point to Jalen Green for both of those numbers, 28th and 13th, is because your best player, if he's efficient, the whole team is going to be even more efficient, right? If he's efficient, the team is going to be efficient. If he's inefficient and inconsistent, that's going to trickle down. That's just how it works when you're the number one option on a team, right? Look at any team Kevin Durant's been on. Kevin Durant's always going to be, as a scorer, one of the most efficient scorers in the league. I think he's been over 50% for, are we going on 12, 13 years now? It's going back to like 2012, over 50%. And he's one of the greatest scorers we've ever seen. Put those two things together, you have one of the most lethal weapons in the history of the game of basketball. Last season, 52-30, lost in the first round to Golden State, even though people had the Warriors, favored going into that series. I think Houston let it slip because they got here. They let Draymond get in here. They let things slip away. Clint Capella going back is a big deal. That's a big deal because they also keep Steven Adams. So that front line is secure. And Amin Thompson, Jabari Smith, still young. Everybody on that team knows their role. Everybody is going to thrive in that role. The problem is you don't have another point guard. So that's going to bite them in the butt for a little bit, to start the season. The fact they ain't go out and get a PG. Dorian Finney-Smith, fine. I understand, length and defense and shooting threes, spacing the floor, but I don't think they needed him. I don't think so. Like I said, you still have Jabari and Amin, and then you add in Kevin Durant. I think you should have went out and got a point guard. I mean, things happen. You can't prepare for, but this is one thing you should have prepared for. You can't prepare for Van Vliet to go down, but you can prepare to give him backup. Make sure he has another guy coming in, because I don't know if Shepard's ready. I don't know if he's ready to take on that responsibility, but he has no choice now. He has no choice. Kid from Kentucky 2 years ago. He has no choice. All right, so if he can come in and give them anything, Kevin Durant's going to be on, autopilot for what? 20, 26, 27 points, 6 rebounds, 4 or 5 assists. Amin's going to take a step forward. He's going to be even more dominant physically and impose his will physically, because athletically, offense and defense, he's unstoppable. And like I said, him and his brother, if they ever get on the same team, It's gonna be scary hours for everybody. And that's not something the league wants to see.